first of all, I will present myself. I'm Alex Loprieno, founder of WeShort. WeShort is a streaming service aimed to distribute short movies all over the world. And we are probably crazy enough to think that short movies like the one you've made can impact and change and improve people's life everywhere, like really everywhere, for everyone. I think that short films have this power that many times it's difficult to find in so many long feature films. And today, I'm very glad to talk about a special film, your film, which I have the fortune to be representing as a streamer, as a WeShort, as a streaming platform. We met first in Berlinale for the world premiere, and now we're sitting again talking about the film. Berlinale was crazy, so we didn't have time to speak and have a cup of tea together. So this is our cup of tea, and hopefully many people will get interested in the film, which I underline, and it's available right now on WeShort. It's available for free. It's available worldwide, so anyone can watch it, anyone, and it's a film that everyone can watch. Is it correct?
Yeah, I mean, they can go to WeShort and watch it, and yeah, for sure.
And I would love to start from the beginning, because I have so many things that I would like to talk about, but today we have roughly 20-25 minutes. So I would like to say something and discuss with you about this topic. Well, first of all, I noticed as a distributor, producer, film lover, that there's such a lack of stories in filmography where the relation between a dog and a human is told, and how special this can be. This is why I found so special your film.
Well, thank you. It's a special relationship that people there have to their dogs. I grew up with sledding dogs as well, growing up in Tasiilaq, and I think when we had the most, we had 12 dogs for sledding and going on day trips and stuff like that. And yeah, it's probably my favorite animal of all animals. The Greenlandic sled dog. It's a very special breed of dog. A very primal dog, closely related to wolves, and actually, it's not allowed to have other dog breeds in town because they don't want to mix the race there. But yeah, it's people that have a different relationship to dogs. Also, it's a work animal. It's not a pet.
So yeah, it's not a pet.
I mean, it certainly isn't for most people. It's a working animal that people use in order to, for example, go hunting, go sledding, go ice fishing, or even to take tourists. It's a way of income in that area also. And then I was there the year before I shot the film. I was actually in town also researching for another project, and I saw this kid walking around with the dog on a big chain. And that may seem normal in most places, but it's not normal there. It's very strange there because people don't walk their dogs because they're not, as I said, pets. So I was very interested in meeting that kid, and I just thought that was really interesting. And it turned out I met him a year later, and that was Kamillos, who was the guy playing Gary in the film, the lead character.
It's interesting because you actually find this, just watching this boy walking the dog, which was very uncommon in that particular part of the world, how that turned into an original script, and how did the original script became your film? I mean, it's like, it seems very far away from watching the scene, going back to the village, shooting the movie later?
Yeah, I had no idea that that was the story I was gonna do. The initial idea for the whole project, the reason I wanted to do the film was that I really wanted to make a film that felt very East Greenlandic, that felt very much as if it was a story that came from this place. I mean, growing up there, obviously I saw films from Greenland, but a lot of the times they felt a little bit as if the screenplay had been written somewhere else, mostly in Denmark, and then just filmed there. So you had like the setting was right, the language was mostly right, but you, to me, it didn't really seem like very Greenlandic stories. And I wanted to work the other way around. I wanted to work from inside out. And so I went there with no script or no story, which was really scary, actually.
Does the film also reflect your childhood or talk about yourself when you were a kid, or is it just made up from your initial inspiration?
No, it's actually based on a true story. When I went back home to Tasiilaq the second time, when I had raised the money to go there and find a story, I was looking for something that I could develop into a short, and I was just spending a lot of time with the young people of the town. We were doing acting workshops and writing workshops and all kinds of stuff, and just really talking and spending a lot of time with these kids. I think we had like 75 or 80 kids that we worked with, but the kid that I'd seen the year before, the one with the dog, didn't show up, and I was a little bit disappointed by that. And then we were driving through town, and we had borrowed like an old rusty car, and then I saw him on the street with no dog. So I was like, stop the car. And I went out to talk to him and said, hey, we're doing this youth film project in town. Would you like to talk to us? And then he was like, no. And I was like, okay. But then he said, I can play some guitar for you. And I said, sure, I'll take whatever I can get, right? So he was sitting on the hood of the trashed car that's in the film, actually, and he was playing some songs. And then he told the story, the real story with the real dog that ended up becoming the film. And I looked around at the other teammates, and everybody was very moved by it, had tears in the eyes. And then I was like, okay, maybe there's something here that we should dig into. This seems like something we can't ignore. And then from that true story of him missing his dog, we worked out the very simple script that became The Thief.
How difficult or special was to work with a lead actor that is not an actor?
I mean, it has challenges, but also it has some huge gifts. It really was a gift to me that the story was based on something that he knew very intimately. I think that's the way I can get untrained actors to work well, is to have them be in situations or in arenas or even in emotions that they know very well, that they know sort of the emotional beats of. So I think the reason that the acting worked was that the story was, some parts of the story anyway, was pretty close to his own experience. Then we changed a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of sort of like an ongoing negotiation of what should we include in the story, what shouldn't we include, what should we change. The real dog, unfortunately, died, and I knew from the beginning that I didn't want to do that as an ending for the film. So we just sort of jammed the story up together, and working this way with like very close to reality with actors who know the world and know the emotions of the thing. It also, a lot of gifts came with that. I think there was a lot of stuff in the film that I couldn't have come up with if I was just sitting at home writing a script, I don't think.
What did he give you that you didn't expect, for example?
For example, the scene where he's calling the dogs and howling to the dogs and on the dog meadow where they're chained, that was something that he did for real. I mean, the negotiate, like he did go to special ed class. So we talked about, can we use that in the film? Yes or no? And he agreed, yes, we can use it. But then, for example, he's not unpopular in real life. He's quite a popular kid, and Mikkel Berto, who plays Batira's friend in the film, they're very good friends in real life, and that helped the process. Also, the big boys, the bullies throwing stones, they're also pretty good friends. So there was like a sort of a very I felt like they put a lot of trust in me, and I felt that that the recording of the film felt quite safe. That was important to me. But then other stuff that I felt came as gifts out of reality was, for example, the scene where he's singing to the dog. That was something he did in real life also to his dog. And I asked if I could use it, and he was afraid that it would be embarrassing, but we just talked about it. The praying, for example, also came from real life, because Kamillos is a pretty devout Christian. I mean, and a funny thing about that actually is that he didn't want to do fake praying. Like, he didn't want to do a scene where because it was important to him, he didn't want to do a scene where he couldn't pray for real about a dog that he didn't own and wasn't looking for. And of course, I respect that, obviously, but then also I'd like to have my scene right. So we did a compromise, which was that the image side of the scene is just him praying for real about some completely different thing that he decided. And then I had him whisper the audio side of the scene, and we edited those two together, and everybody was happy about that. So that was how the praying scene came to be.
It was a game of compromise, and I think that's how the whole thing is about. It's about finding the right balance between cast and production needs and your needs to meet your vision and make it real. And I really love to ask you, is there any detail that you have included in the film that are just brought back from your childhood in the village? And did you just show us how it was to live and grow there since you were very, very young?
I mean, it really is Kamillos' story. It's not so much my story, but that place absolutely is the arena of my own childhood, and that's also one of the reasons I really wanted to do something there, because like, if you blindfolded me, I could draw you a map of the town. Like, I know every it's my entire childhood and early youth was in that town. So all the locations I knew where they were. I knew that I wanted to do something on the dog graveyard and go to the dog meadow and all those places, which are sort of, I guess, also places where adults don't come unless they really have to. But I think they're more frequently visited by kids for some reason. Those weird places on the outskirts of town.
I mean, the kids there don't have so much to do unless, have some. I mean, my question would be what a kid does for having fun in this part of the world? Because we see him hanging out with the dog and looking for the dog, but what is the real life?
But that's yeah, that's a big question. I think I'm a little bit surprised by how well the film has traveled, and the reason for that is to me it's a very specific film, grounded in a very specific place and a very specific culture, and even in a very specific person. But I think one of the reasons that it resonates is also that a lot of the things there are different, and youth life has different aspects, but also a lot of youth life there is the same as everywhere. I think that I hope that the core of the film translates, which is to me that being different is difficult no matter where in the world you are. And so what do young people do there? They do different stuff, but also they do the same stuff as all young people. They hang out with each other, and they get a first kiss, and they play football, or they play mobile phones or PlayStation, or and sometimes they go dog sledding, and sometimes they go ice fishing or sailing, and it's just it's superficially very, very different, but at its core, it has a lot of similarities to youth life everywhere, I think.
It was also in your intention to kind of portray the authenticity of the place, of the location. I feel the location is one more character in the story in your film.
Yeah.
How important was also to portray to the world the place and to give just a view on the place?
Well, it's very important. Obviously, it's it's sort of to me it's sort of a mini road trip film and an introduction to the town also, and it was incredible for me to be able to relive sort of the set of my own childhood. I knew from the beginning that I didn't want to do a film in Greenland about ice or glaciers or mountains or fjords or stuff like that. I feel like there is plenty of that. I wanted to do a film about what I think is most interesting about Greenland, which is obviously Greenlanders, and they don't, for whatever reason, figure a lot in films in Greenland, actually, which has always been strange to me. So I tried to be quite close to the characters and to always have them drive the images, and sometimes I feel like I failed at that, because people often point the landscape out, but I mean I guess mountains are pretty difficult to hide, and then also it's just it's a place that is so different that people just really take notice, I think.
In the subtext of the story, we can learn, as you said before, what's the relation between the sleek dog and the local people, which is different between other places. Like you were saying that it's an animal for work, and also we have a scene that I don't want to spoil in the film where we see some of the dogs that are dead. So how much you wanted to tell this also, beside the relation between Kali and his dog?
But I mean, that's just a part of that world. That's just the backdrop, I think. And then also I would say that because you're right, people, these dogs are work animals in this part of the world, in this culture. They're not pets. But I would say that Gadi has a different relationship to his dogs than most people there. I think he has a closer, more emotional relationship to Mapoyo, his dog, and that's part of the resistance that he feels from his father, for example, or from the older boys. They think it's strange that he's so closely attached to his dog, but he is.
I think that this is very beautiful because it's difficult not to tell more, but I would like people to watch it and enjoy it, because
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
that for sure, 100%, if this film will be for all the people that love dogs. It sounds a bit obvious, but I think that it's also it's for anyone, and I really love the fact that we have came across your film very early in its journey, and we are now streaming it on WeShort. More to come for sure, Chris. We would be talking more about your film, and I'm pretty sure we'll know more also from reviews that of people that we want to know from the audience what they think, and if they felt empathy with the dog, with the character of Kali, and with his story. I felt a little bit Kali in the story, because also it made me think about my childhood and the relation I had with my dog, and it made me think when I went back to the country house and I didn't find my dog, and no, my grandfather didn't want to tell me that my dog was not living anymore for some reason. Okay, those kind of things that you hide to the kids, you don't want to tell the kid that the dog is not there anymore, right? And well, hopefully we didn't spoil that much. So enthusiastic about this film and so enthusiastic about this journey so far. More to come. Thank you, Chris, for having this beautiful talk, and
thank you very much for having me.
And yeah, see you soon, and see you on WeShort. WeShort.com. Anyone can sign up for free and watch The Thief. Please, Chris, one more detail. Can you tell something about the original title?
ANNGEERDARDARDOR.
Yeah.
That's the East Greenlandic. That's the East Greenlandic title. Just means thief.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.